Hi guys, welcome to our finally Avengers spoiler review. So if you have not had a chance to watch the Avengers Infinity War film, we suggest that you hit pause, go watch the movie, come back, and actually watch this this review that we have, because we're going to talk about everything that's going on in the film, what we liked, what we didn't like. And
well, we won't talk about everything that's going on in the film.
Okay, well,
we'll talk about the things that matter to us.
There you go. That's a good way to put it. The things that do matter to us, but we're not going to hold back. We're going to talk about everything that.
And if any of you comment, or please comment. But if any of you comment that we're releasing spoilers, once again, spoiler alert.
Yeah. There it is. Okay. All right. So let's go. All right, Art, you've had a chance to see Infinity War. Let's overall get your thoughts on what you thought about the film.
Okay. Unfortunately, I've only seen it once.
One time. Poor you, sir.
Poor
you.
me.
So you got to get out there and see some more.
Woe is me.
Help Marvel get more money, because that's what they want. It was like it's already.
Well, we were going to see it on May 1st, which was yesterday, but someone bailed.
That guy over there. But even in that one time, what was the impression that it gave you?
Okay. Absolutely love this film.
Love this film. All
this
right.
film really, for numerous reasons. First, the intro. They really didn't. They didn't draw out an intro. I mean, with 67, right? Essentially 67
characters.
Characters in there. You really had to go through a lot. So they did not waste any time picking up. Man, there was some things that as soon as it started off, I'm like, what? How's it starting off like this?
Right, the ball was just rolling. They went right in basically where Thor ended, right?
And then most films, when they kill off one of the characters immediately.
Yeah, black people. No, already start killing off black people.
That's true.
Heimdall was the first person to die.
And he has such a short film. I'm like, okay, boop. Now there's 66 characters left.
It's like, let's roll the counter of people they killed in this film.
I'd love to watch this movie with a little counter.
A little counter. It's like there's 67 characters. And mark them all down. All right.
And then they kill off Loki as well. So boom, 2 right away.
Which I think we kind of thought that they might do from the trailers, because that's the only spot we saw him in the trailer, was basically when he was handing over the cube. Okay, so they killed a couple characters. The ball was running.
Next thing you know, let's go to Earth.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so the one thing I brought up to Manny when we were talking a little bit before you got here is that, did you notice that they kind of did it Star Wars-esque when they would jump from scene to scene? The only thing that they didn't do is that they didn't do the wipe across the screen. You know, Star Wars would be in a scene, and the scene just ends. They wipe across the screen, and then they take you to another scene. Infinity War did a lot like that. It was like they had a scene in the scene, and then they just jumped.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it, because we already know what's happening, so we don't need anything. We don't need anything to lead into
a lot of exposition, and they kind of tell you, it's like, oh, and hey, did you know that Guardians are doing this thing over there? They're like, no, they just jumped to the Guardians.
And now, if anyone has not seen any Marvel movies, and you go into this, who are you, first of all?
The 5 people that are laying under eyes. The people in China who didn't get to see it opening day.
Yeah, well, that's because the internet isn't open to the public. It's controlled. So they weren't able to stream it.
They bootleg a lot. I'm sorry, China.
That totally threw me off.
I know,
I was going to make a joke. That's how we do it. That's what we do. So then you cut to Earth, and it's picking up. One thing I did not like.
Okay.
Well, first of all,
we're on likes now. Let's get to likes.
So it just cut to the next scene. Okay. I love the interaction between Strange and
Star-Lord?
and Tony Stark.
Okay.
Yeah, he was not having any of his BS.
Yeah, that was crazy. He was like really kind of like really, I almost say aggressive to him. I was like, who are you? You're nobody to me.
Yeah. Well, and really, I mean, what can Tony Stark really do? To Doctor Strange.
What's funny, I always said that Doctor Strange, especially at the beginning with him and Wong, they seemed like the strongest characters in the MCU.
Yes.
One of the great things that I liked about this film is that you got to see a lot of what it's like when they fight together. when they showed him and Wong fighting together, when Ebony Maw through the spikes in them, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna open a portal, and then we're gonna open another portal and send it back at you." I was like, "Oh, that's awesome!" But then you also got to see like a scene with Scarlet, Black Widow, and Captain America fighting against the rest of the Black Order when they were just like all in tandem. They took them down like nothing. I thought they were really gonna be like a challenge. They took them down like, "Who are you people? Don't you know that we fight super villains all the time?"
Yeah, these are supernatural villains.
Exactly.
Interdimensional villains.
Yeah, and it's like they took them down so easy. I love the fact that they show that they work well as a team.
Yeah.
They have like little setups and stuff that they do. That was great. But like you said at the very beginning, that he really did have a problem with Tony Stark.
Yeah, and he had no problem just letting him know, this is where I stand, this is who I am. I don't work for you.
Right. I don't work for you. I'm going to do what I want to do. Yeah. Basically, which kind of foreshadows some things that he does later in the film.
And I love Tony Stark. And what exactly do you do? I protect the Earth, and he goes on, but he didn't sit there and try to validate himself to him.
Right.
Just like, all right, this is who.
You've all seen Doctor Strange. We already know what you do.
Now let's cut to the interactions where you start crossing the different characters. So you have Guardians of the Galaxy, and they finally meet Thor, which I thought it added the right amount of humor into the film. Sometimes, for example, Thor Ragnarok was and Guardians of the Galaxy 2, both were a little too much comedy for me.
Number one comedy film in the MCU. Thor Ragnarok.
Or Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
That was supposed to be comedic. Thor was not supposed to be comedic.
Yes.
But so you're saying when they did the meeting between, so the whole interaction between Star-Lord and Thor, you didn't think it was too over the top? Because I actually thought it was too over the top.
I thought it was just enough, the right amount of humor.
I thought it went too far when he started doing the deep voice thing.
What do you mean, sir?
What do you mean? It was like, are you copying my voice? I was like, As a matter of fact, I had problems with a lot of deep voices in this film, and we'll talk about that in a minute.
Well, remember Chris Pratt, or Star-Lord, he didn't grow up around, he grew up as a child on his own, essentially, with the Ravagers. Right. So he really didn't have a role model or someone to tell him. So in his
mind,
have
somebody in peak physical perfection,
whose muscles seemed like they were sculpted.
Yeah, they were sculpted. It was like, he's like, stop touching his muscles. That was funny. I
thought that whole scene, the whole when they, because that's the first time that you see two characters outside of Tony Stark and Doctor Strange. But remember that they're both on Earth, and Strange has already crossed paths with others.
Right.
So this scene is where Thor, and it really connects the films all together. I'm not going to go through each scene.
Yes.
But what I will tell you,
But
what I will tell you is I loved how they brought in the various different characters throughout the entire film. Nothing felt forced. One of my most loathed, the things that I loathe the most from all the films is whenever there's Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr., he gets center stage as soon as he's in.
He took a little bit of a backseat in this one. I mean, there were some interactions with Spider-Man that it seems like they needed to do to kind of help with that, to bring Spider-Man more into this universe. But that's really all they did. I mean, it seemed like the focus in this movie was really on Scarlet Witch and Gamora. They were the biggest focus in this film, and it's like they were really trying to give some light to the women in the MCU. They were the biggest focus. I mean, Tony Stark had a big part in it, but it was more of his interaction with Doctor Strange.
Yeah, it really was not. It really wasn't where he was the star of the film.
Right.
He really did share. All right, the stardom, I guess.
So I want to ask you real quick. All right, so everybody had a little bit of their thoughts as far as like who was going to die. Did you feel disappointed that Tony Stark did not die in this film?
No, I knew he was not going to die. I knew him and
because they paid him $55 million.
Look, the two benchmark characters that I knew were not going to die. Everyone said Captain America. I knew
everybody put Captain America. They were like, if you took betting odds in Vegas on Captain America, and it was like,
I'm certain people had. I'm certain there was betting odds in Vegas on this film.
I would have bet on Captain America.
I knew. Look, the two most iconic characters in all of the Marvel movies right now are Captain America and Iron Man. Right. There was no way they were going to kill off one of their two main staples.
I thought they were going to kill them both.
What I did not like who they killed off, but we'll get to that later.
We'll get to don't like. We're still on like. So what else you like about this film?
What I did like is also you know, most movies, they end up, you have some type of resolution towards the end of the movie. I love the way this ended.
No, this was very Empire Strike Back-ish. Because people were like upset, and like in a lot of the comments, it was like, oh, why did it end that way? They lost. It was like, yeah, you love Empire Strikes Back, right? They lost in Empire Strikes Back. True. They got their butt kicked in Empire Strikes Back. They got their butt kicked in here. It's like they beat some people and they won some battles, but ultimately Thanos won.
Yeah. Oh, by far. And it really showcased how powerful he is. I actually feel they did Thanos a disservice because they really didn't showcase in the comic books how badass he really is.
Realistically, with having a couple of stones, he could have decimated anybody by himself. And it was like that he kept, at the very beginning, he kept using Power Stone, just kind of like brute strength. But he had so many things. Like if he did Reality Stone all through the movie, they would have do nothing. He could have beat everybody with just the Reality Stone.
Yeah. And he's the only one that we know that is willing to wield the stones.
Right.
Everyone else gives it respect or hide, or they have no idea what to do with it.
Ronan tried.
Ronan tried, but he was nowhere near. And he didn't know how to capitalize on it.
Hey, look, he lost to a dance battle.
That is very true.
He lost to a dance battle.
I'm here to distract you.
All right. So, anything else that you liked in this film?
The last thing that I really did love was. So we have the fight scenes. You get the build up.
Yeah.
You get this. I loved how it really showcased all the characters coming together. The fight scene.
Yeah.
The fight scene didn't hold back. It's not as if like, oh, come on, one person could have just eliminated everybody. No, it showed everyone was really trying to their best. Especially
it wasn't a lot of like, oh, I'm gonna fight you and then now I'm gonna fight you. It's kind of one of those things like everybody attacked at all times. So like you're engaged in a fight, somebody else would attack you in that fight. It was like trying to show what a real battle would be like. So I really like that.
Yeah, the fight scene, especially the big climactic fight scene at the end.
Wakanda forever.
Well, not that much anymore, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not forever.
Wakanda only half forever.
Rest in peace, Black Panther.
And also, a little hidden jewel I found, not the hidden jewel, but really one of the standout characters who really didn't get that much screen time, but I really appreciated his role in this was Peter Parker.
Yeah. He didn't get much. I love the fact that they gave us the Iron Spider.
Yes.
I really loved it. They kept hiding it, and we all knew it was coming when they gave him the metal suit that we're gonna. But when I saw it, I sat there, basically had the nerdgasm of all time. When the arms came out, oh my god, it was amazing. So when he was, and what's funny is that's as big of a thing as we make it, and when seeing it in the films, it's like it's not even that big of a thing in the comics. No, it was a big thing for Civil War, and we passed Civil War, and it was like, and then he went back to the suit. So
but I honestly felt as if he could carry another movie easily. It's not as if he was overshadowed or underplayed. On the other hand, I think there's one scene where he just stops that other character.
They really showcased his strength because they hadn't really been doing that in the other films. It's like Spider-Man's super strong. He's he's got the equivalent of the spider strength.
I mean, magnified to
He's got the equivalent of Spider-Man.
I love that part. So let me get this straight. We have an Ant-Man and a Spider-Man.
That's amazing. Especially they gave you the look of what it was like since Hulk had been missing. Like he's catching up. So that's awesome. All right. So things that I liked about the film, and I kind of feel like I touched on them all. It was like I really like how they fought together. I really like the way that they cut between the scenes. Those are the best things to me. Like it made me feel, and we're Star Wars fans, so giving me things that kind of mirror the good things that they do from Star Wars is a plus for me. And seeing those really just it really caught my eye, and I was like, hey, that's a Star Wars thing.
Yeah, that's what led the movie to be almost, the transition seemed seamless.
Did they lose a hand? Did somebody lose a hand?
Yeah. Then when they closed the portal?
That's right, he lost a hand! By the way, I was like really tripping about that. I was like, who lost a hand? So there's your Empire Strike Back moment there.
Somebody lost a
hand.
Someone's father died, we don't know whose, but
somebody's father died. Black Panther has illegitimate children. All right, so that covers a lot of what we liked about this film. You ready to go into the negatives?
Yeah, let's
go ahead into the negatives. So give me some of the things that you didn't like about this film, because I got a couple.
And these are minor things I'm really going to just, as a nerd, as a geek, As a self-proclaimed geek, I will tell you that one of the things that really bothered me was how they glanced over the nanotechnology for
his Iron Man. It's like he just it's nanotechnology.
Yeah,
dude, when did you build that?
Yeah, like this suit is now capable of doing pretty much whatever your imagination can think of.
I was a little bummed on the CGI on it. I know the other suits are all CGI, but the other suits look more real than that one did.
Well, I think it's because of the nanotechnology. It doesn't play well on screen.
Oh, there you go. This is, science.
I don't want to get all sciencey, but ultimately, unless you're watching it on 4K Ultra, it's not going to look good.
What else did you like? Because I got a couple things I want to talk
about. The other thing is they really didn't showcase Thanos as well.
Really? I feel different about that. I think
how powerful he really is. I think they underplayed how powerful
they underplayed the power of the gems or the stones.
Yeah.
They call them. And it was like they underplayed those. It was like like I said, he did power a lot. He was like, he just basically, I'm gonna brute strength you all the way. And I was like, dude, you got better stones that you could just run through them, and it's like this would be over in a second.
He had a pair of stones. He could have done anything.
Yeah, he had like 6 pairs of stones. Anything else, sir?
Also, I felt another character that was underplayed, and unfortunately, we didn't get to see much of him, was of Groot.
I think it was 67 characters. They had to balance as much as they could. There were going to be some people that didn't get a lot, and since they're doing the whole Groot going, the son of Groot, because what they officially said, this is not Groot, but the son of Groot. It's like growing up. I can see why they would downplay it a little bit. They talked to him a lot, and that's really, he had a scene where he gave him his arm for the axe, so that was his biggest moment.
Yeah, well, but he didn't really give him much. I mean, he just grew out another one. So did he really sacrifice anything?
I mean, it's a plant, sir. It's a plant.
It's a walking, talking plant.
All right. Things that I didn't like in this film, and I'm going to fast forward a little bit through the film. One of the things that I did not like was they brought Peter Dinklage into this film. Peter Dinklage is a great actor.
In a Game of Thrones. His character was a surprise.
It was a surprise because everybody kept saying that he was playing one of the characters from the Black Order. It was Obsidian or something like that. We thought he was playing the voice of that, but when you actually saw who the character was, I was a little disappointed. I would rather he had been a voiceover.
I think that's the first time he's ever played
a giant dwarf. A giant dwarf, which is it's a thing to think about. But the fact that is,
I took my hands.
I would have been okay with the character itself, but they were really trying to play off the fact that he was huge, so his voice had to be deep.
Yeah.
And if you watch 8 years of Game of Thrones, you know that that's not his voice. And you're like, can you please stop pretending to be grown and give me the little kid voice that you have?
He took my hands.
And it's like he kept doing it deeper and deeper every time he talked. It's like, you have to hold the thing open. And it was like, oh, and that's what it means to be dead. And like, just stop already.
We need the handle. We need the handle.
So it's like he kept doing that. That was bugging the heck out of me. And I was like, stop. And speaking of deep voices, the interaction between Star-Lord and Thor, I thought it was great and funny all the way up to he did the deep voice thing. And
I loved it.
You're too far, sir. This joke is burning out right now. It was burning out on me. What's funny is that the whole interaction I didn't think was funny. The second time I watched the movie, I was like, it's funny, but I still didn't like the deep voice thing. It still bugged me.
You know what? I'm going to backtrack just for one moment. Another scene that I absolutely loved was with Drax.
Oh, that was another scene where I was like, I didn't think it was funny the first time. The second time I watched it, I laughed like crazy, and it was like, my moves are imperceptible.
I'm invisible to the eye.
It was great. It was a great scene, and I think that he's becoming better as an actor, especially like growing into that particular character.
So fast forward to the dislikes.
Okay,
that's one I forgot to mention.
Okay,
the other one is Drax in the comic books.
No, that's not his character at all.
This character is more like funny. He really doesn't add any firepower, any strength, nothing. No. This guy was he's Drax the Destroyer, yet you're probably the most...
It's probably one of the weakest characters there.
on the film. In all the films, really, when you go back and watch the two other previous films he was in, he really is the weakest character.
I mean, he gets beat quite often, but I mean, it's one of those things.
He'll beat low-level people with no power. He'll destroy them.
And maybe that's the whole thing with it. Was like where you said like you call big people little and you call little people big, and it was like so he's Drax the Destroyer who destroys.
Yeah, but as soon as he fights anyone with any type of enhanced ability,
and that's a little bit because like he lost to Ronin. Easily lost to Ronin.
Easily.
It's like he got his butt whooped against Thanos. I mean, he didn't get a chance to even stand up against Thanos because Thanos broke him down in the second with the Reality Stone, which is why I said like you should have used the Reality Stone
to begin with.
90% of this movie, 90% of the movie should have been Reality Stone. Like
this 149 minute movie would have been 19 minutes.
It'd been 19 minutes. Reality Stone. Reality Stone. Reality Stone. Vision, you want that stone? Reality Stone.
It's true.
It's one of those things. All right, so now that we kind of get, because there's not a lot of gripes that we have. This is nitpicking what we're really doing. It's like, let's talk about where do they go from here. And it's like, we know that this ended with the snap. Half the universe is wiped out. They killed everybody, or 50% of the world, or 50% of the universe.
Yeah.
So 50% of the people on Earth died, Nick Fury included. We'll get back to that in a second.
Maria Hill.
By the way, Maria Hill could have been gone. She's not that important to the story.
You shut your dirty mouth.
She's very attractive, but Maria Hill is not integral to the story at all. But where do they go from here? Where do they go? Because we have another one coming out.
So we do know, at least based on the comic books, Ant-Man was not present, right? Because of his daughter. He's trying to...
Ant-Man wasn't present.
He's in parole.
Hawkeye wasn't there.
Yeah. So
Valkyrie
we do know...
wasn't there because they came out later and told us that Valkyrie escaped.
When did they say that?
They just recently said it like yesterday.
Okay.
Yesterday it came out and said that Valkyrie escaped through a escape pod because people were questioning.
Where was she?
One of the Russos went to his college to do a presentation, and somebody asked him. I was like, "Hey, where was Valkyrie on the ship? Because we didn't see her die." And he was like, "Oh, she escaped." And so that kind of filled in the gap, like where was she? So Valkyrie, Hawkeye, and Ant-Man are all free or all safe, we think. But then it could have been wiped out by the Infinity Gauntlet because it was 50%.
Yeah.
I mean, they took out Nick Fury. Come on, people. So
I love the way he died.
I have a video coming out in regards to the black people they killed in this movie. We'll talk about that later.
What black character did survive?
They didn't kill the cripple. They didn't kill Rhodey.
And they didn't kill what's her name.
Don't give me Wakanda. Wakanda doesn't count. Wakanda does not count.
That's Michonne. That's Michonne. That's Miss Michonne.
Wakanda does not
Michonne
count.
don't die.
Only person from Wakanda that counts is Black Panther. That's it. You know, look, no. The only person that counts from Wakanda is what's the question, sir?
We have a question from the audience.
As far as dislikes and all that, but were y'all disappointed that the run scene from the first trailer
didn't make it in this? I think they're moving that to Avengers 4 because we saw Hulk in that scene.
Right.
Yeah, that's gonna move to Avengers 4.
And speaking of, did that bother y'all that Hulk wasn't?
That didn't.
No, it didn't bother me. Because I like the fact that what they did with it, so I understood. I actually forgot about the scene until I saw the trailer again.
Yeah,
after I watched the movie.
I was expecting that, and at one point I was like, "Oh, is this when we're gonna see them run?"
Yeah, and that's it.
Is this?
They didn't do it.
But as we all know, when the first trailers that they release, by the time it actually gets released in the movie theater, it's not going to include all the scenes.
Yeah, Rogue One taught us that. Rogue One taught us that. Don't look at the trailers as for scenes that are actually going to be in a movie, TIE fighters and stuff. But all right, so where do they go from here? So I know you mentioned earlier we were talking about with.
I was going to say with Ant-Man.
Okay.
With Ant-Man, you know, the time and space is not affected when you go subatomic.
With subatomic, so we're going to see some subatomic in Avengers 4.
Yes,
I can see that.
So I can see where perhaps we'll have hopefully Ant-Man and Wasp.
Okay.
You know,
well, their movie's coming up in a month or so.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to see if they really gave this a lot of thought in the film, and are we going to see the effects of what happened, or is this a one-off that happened before?
No, Ant-Man and the Wasp is going to be before Infinity War.
Okay, I see. I was not aware of that.
Yeah, it's going to be before and Captain Marvel will also be before Infinity War. So like those films,
that one's going to be set in,
and it's going to be in space.
Yeah. Yeah, but it has nothing to do. I knew that one, but so what do I expect? I expect. Or what would I like to see? You know,
either or.
Obviously, we're going to see Thor. Thanos is going to be defeated.
Right. Eventually.
Mm-hmm. And I loved how they gave Thor his place as like, okay, if somebody's going to kick his butt, Thor can.
It was going to be Thor, and it was like, and it was funny that it was one of those things where that he still needed a hammer, even though he just got told in Thor Ragnarok, "Are you the god of hammers?" He still needed a hammer.
I didn't even connect that.
He's like, "What are you, the god of hammers?" No, you're the god of thunder. It's like, so you get out there and you do it. It's within you, and then he still needed a hammer. I sat there and I thought, I thought we just got over this.
I had a conversation. Well, I had a conversation with someone. And they're like, "Why didn't he use his power when he was when he was originally fighting with Thanos? When the opening scene where Thanos is there?
Yeah, why didn't he use it then?
Yeah, and then
because he still needed a hammer.
No, I was saying he's in space. He would have electrocuted the half of the people that survived.
Oh, yeah.
You're in the confined.
Science.
You're in a you're in a confined metal compartment.
Dude, they've been breathing in space. You worried about sciencey stuff? They're breathing in space.
Yeah, indoors.
Indoors, so because they have oxygen inside the ship and stuff. Like the ship blew up and he was like floating out in space and
but he can survive. He's not like his muscles were formed. And he did come out like low damage.
A little damage
from floating in space.
All right, so one of the things I was thinking about where you had mentioned before with Nebula. And you feel like in the comics they talk about like her part to play in the downfall of Thanos. You feel like they're going to give her more of a major role coming up in the upcoming film. You don't believe so?
No. I think her role is just going to be a supporting character.
Okay.
As it has been for all the other films.
Okay.
She's not one that they've really put a lot of stock into.
Okay. I mean, it's an opportunity for them to do so.
Yeah. Would you like to put a wager on that, sir?
Sure.
Vegas bets are open now. All right, so so you're downplaying the Nebula thing. So one of the things that
I know Stark is going to have something to do to destroy Thanos. You already know that.
So one of the things that it kind of got brought up is, especially online, is that is Gamora really dead? Is she trapped within the Soul Stone?
That's a great, and that's a theory I was talking to someone earlier about.
Okay.
And they left it, and it's a little ambiguous of how she died. Did she actually die?
She died, but it was one of those things. Did she really die herself?
Yeah, did she really die?
Okay. Did she trade, because he threw her off and she was there in a puddle of her own blood, but did she get traded for the Soul Stone? Like, is she trapped within it for the soul?
Yeah.
Type deal. And it's like, and he's obviously talking to Gamora at the end of the film, but is he talking to, he said about with the Reality Stone, he can make you see whatever he wants to see. Is he doing it to himself just to be able to talk to her again? Or is she truly trapped in her and he's there talking to her within the stone?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things. Also, too, people were wiped off with the snap. People were actually killed. We know we're going to see some return of some people, obviously, because Homecoming 2 is going to come out. Black Panther 2 is going to come out. That dude made $1.1 billion. He's getting a sequel. Yeah. So we know people are going to come back. The people who were legitimately killed, Loki, Heimdall, Gamora, the people who were legitimately killed, do we see them again?
I say yes.
Okay.
I say yes. The ones that we may not see, who will die off on this next one potentially.
Shut my tongue.
Can you? I'm sorry. Can you say that again? I am good.
Keep going. My tongue hurts.
So the ones I do see some characters just killing off altogether.
Cool.
For example, I do see Captain Rogers.
So even though they didn't kill him this time, you feel like they'll kill him in the next one?
I felt as if they didn't kill him off this one because this is the changing of the guards.
So you feel like they'll trade lives.
This is leading up.
Heimdall will come back, Cap will go.
Some of them are going to come back. No.
Black Panther will come back. Tony Stark will go.
Yeah, there's some of them that I feel as if they're going to already. Okay. Their contracts already ended, or they're just extending it, and they're just trying to transition. But we still need supporting characters to tie in from the other ones. So this is where I feel as if some of the main ones that have, eat up a lot of the money, where we can now transition safely to another. Like I said, changing the guards. I can see Tom Holland really stepping up.
Mm-hmm. Jaden Smith coming in to be Miles Morales.
Oh my God. No, you can see where the transition, how it's already, they're setting up some type of transition.
Okay.
And this is, It's to be unnamed. They should have just named this one Avengers Infinity War Part 1.
They did originally.
Yeah,
and then they felt like they were like, oh, people are gonna not want to see it.
There's too many movies with already Part 1 and Part 2.
And so they changed it and they lied to us, by the way. They literally lied to us because they originally dropped the sheet and they were like, Infinity War Part 1, Infinity War Part 2.
Yeah.
And then they came back and they were like, oh, no, Avengers 4 will be something different. They literally lied to us knowing that they were going to make this a 2-part
Avengers Infinity Aftermath.
There you go. Aftermath. There you go.
Yeah.
A Gauntlet or Avengers Assembled is what's kind of going out there right now, is that what this will be called, which Kevin Feige says that the title, when it comes out, he felt bad that they hit it because when it releases, we're going to kind of be underwhelmed by the title.
Wow, that doesn't say, that says a lot.
It says a lot. He was like, dude, I'm sorry I hit the title because you're not going to be happy about the title.
Yeah. So, no, that's why I say what I'm expecting. I can see them killing off some of these characters. Okay.
So the people that are already dead, you think they will come back? The people who aren't dead right now,
some of them will.
Okay.
Will die.
I see that. Okay. So that's pretty much what we thought about Avengers Infinity War. We didn't want to get too long with it because I'm sure probably there's only like 2 people still watching the video at this point.
There was 5 of y'all. There was 5 of y'all who did not watch it. In the middle of this, y'all paused it, went to go watch it.
Thank you for coming back and watching the video. So
the other ones paused it and watching the film as we go.
There you go. All right, go ahead and take us home.
Hey, well, tell us what you thought. We really would love to know your comments. Don't forget to follow us, like us, do all that good stuff to us.
There you go. It's always nice for you to do that good stuff to us.
And then comment about it too, what you just did.
Oh goodness, please don't do that. All right, guys, for Manny over here on the couch right now, and Aspen, where the heck she's at. I'm Terrence.
I'm Art.
And that was a good SD card space because it's not 4K.
Oh shoot, I have the SD card.
Oh, well, when somebody buys the 4K camera, so yeah, I was adjusting the camera, and I was like, "The fuck's wrong with my eyes? Why does this look like this?" I was like, "Oh wait, it's not 4K." I was really blown away. I was like, "Fuck."